The Independent Global Stocktake, or usually put the IGST, is a data and advocacy initiative that brings together climate researchers. It advocates in support of the official collective global stocktaking process of the Paris Agreement, the first which will be held in 2023. The IGST provides an independent benchmark of collective progress on climate action. The Finance Working Group is one of 4 working groups of the IGST. It is an open partnership that brings together a wide range of expert perspectives from the Global North and the Global South. What we identified was the issue of equity is neither a small or simple topic and is one that demands much more attention and conversation going forward.
There is a real danger when support provided to developing countries is getting far from being equitable or far from what is needed on the ground. The growing amount of climate finance is becoming less relevant when its large share is spent on areas where the needs are not clearly defined due to limited capacity to express these needs. My recent work has shown that the capacity of many developing countries to determine their own needs is severely limited. To have an equitable climate finance, the Global Stocktake needs to probe into this issue to find out the extent of the support has been provided so far correspond to the needs or not.
Consistency itself has a very nascent understanding within which issues of equity have not been blended. So to even start considering equity, I feel we need to have an honest deconstruction of what consistency means and what equity means, to get under the skin of both concepts and start understanding what are we dealing with and what are the realities in which those concepts actually find themselves. And ultimately, you can be very consistent in an inequitable way, and that's not what we're looking for. So we need better, transparent frameworks to measure the progress, but we also need better framing of what consistency and equity mean and our assumptions of what those relate to.
The private sector is catching up and increasingly committing to science-based targets. Equity is somewhat implicit in these discussions and showing up in dialogues around just transition. However, the transition costs and equity still need to be unpacked. For equity to resonate with the private sector, we will likely need to talk about it more and monetize estimated economic losses and benefits. We can also consider who in the private sector can participate at this time in the debates. For example, large-scale banks versus micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises.
We need to ensure that governments and institutions in the Global South are given fair representation in the GST process, particularly in the information collection phase, since this is the foundation upon which the rest of the stocktake is based. Currently, the majority of climate finance data and analysis is produced by developed country institutions. So strengthening the capacity of developing country entities to bring their own data and insights to the process will be key.
Equity in finance themes of the Global Stocktake amounts to a challenge within which the distribution of benefits differs from the distribution at costs, both at many scales as well as temporally. The Finance Working Group of the Independent Global Stocktake has a unique opportunity to dive deeper into the issue of equity. This might involve looking more closely at what inequity looks like for finance themes, or exposing some of the politically inconvenient aspects of climate finance. But ultimately, a patchwork of equity will not be enough to maintain the trust and the faith that we need in the multilateral process.